Now look, hey, I've been telling this for many years. Kids always like it. There was a, you, big dog, no dog, anyway. Here. There was a traveling salesman going down backcountry roads in terrible weather, and his car broke down. He thought, I haven't passed anything in a while. I've got to go somewhere. I'll go up the road. So he got his umbrella and hat out and trudged up the road. There was a little opening in the sidewalls, sort of like a road pathway, not quite a whole road. He went up it and found a house. A house right out of a Halloween movie. Yeah, flashes of lightning, banging shutters, cobwebs, no light showing. He thought, what a creepy looking place, but at least he'll be out of the weather. And so he went up and knocked on the door. The door opened and there was a man in a lab coat. Hey, he looked at him in surprise and said, my car broke down the road. Can I use your phone? Little man stroked his beard and says, no, I don't keep a phone here. But if you promise not to touch the purple gorilla, you may spend the night. The salesman looked back out of the storm and thought, why not? And so he said, I promise I won't touch any purple gorillas tonight. Well, if you promise not to touch him, you may come inside. Little man just introduced himself as Professor Von Brain. He took him in, sat him down by the fire, gave him a nice hot drink, talked to him about different things, seemed to know a lot about what was going on in the world, but every once in a while he'd just stop in the middle of a phrase and say, now remember, you promised not to touch the purple gorilla. And again, the salesman had promised not to touch any purple gorillas. He took him into the dining room, gave him a nice dinner, but in between each course and sometimes in between bites, he would say, now remember, you promised not to touch the purple gorilla. And again, the salesman had promised not to touch any purple gorillas. The man took him upstairs to show him a lovely bedchamber and said, good night. He said, but remember, you promised not to touch the purple gorilla. And the salesman said, what's this purple gorilla business? I've been promising not to touch any purple gorillas all night. You promise you won't tell anyone? I'm not telling anybody anything about anything, just what's going on. And you promise not to touch him? I promise not to touch any purple gorillas. Well, if you promise not to touch him and you won't tell anyone, I'll show you. Led him back down the staircase, through the living room, through the dining room, into the kitchen, up to what looked like a brick wall. He touched a button on the wall. The wall opened up. Said, come on, it's not far. He got in an elevator ride. It was the longest elevator ride down he'd ever been in his life. He opened up, and there was a small chamber with one wall was a steel vault door. The salesman stepped over and spun the wheel once and pulled back the thing. Little man said, come on down here, I'll show you. Long corridor stretching out in front of them. They go down this corridor a little way, they come up to a set of concrete doors set in tracks. Little man lifts the bar and pushes one way, pushes one the other way, and hey, says, come on, it's not far now. Hey, they went a little way further down the corridor, and there was an iron portcullis. Little man undid the locks and lifted the iron bars into the ceiling and said, it's right over here, now come on, I'll show you. They came up to a great big set of heavy oak doors. The little man said, it's right in here, and he unlocked the doors and swung them open. The salesman stepped inside. There was the most enormous cavern he'd ever imagined. And in that enormous cavern was a gigantic cage, and in that gigantic cage was a 15-foot purple gorilla. The little man said, now remember, you promised not to touch it. Touch that? I'm not going to touch that. Well, good. Come on. Let's go back upstairs. So he locked the concrete wooden doors and went down, pulled down the portcullis, locked them in place, got the concrete doors, shut them in place, got the steel vault door, swung it closed, spun the wheel, got in the elevator. They went up, through the kitchen, through the dining room, into the living room, up the stairs, into the bedroom. The little man said good night. The salesman lay down and thought, this is really crazy. What could possibly happen if I touch that monkey? The more he thought, the more it drove him nuts, and he finally decided he had to find out. He got dressed, He carried his shoes down to the living room. He put them on in the kitchen. He went up the steel vault. He got in the elevator and went down, 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 down. He opened the steel vault door. He opened the concrete doors. He lifted the forklift. He went up to the wooden doors. He opened the wooden doors. He reached in and he touched the sleeping gorilla and stepped back. I didn't think there'd be anything. And then the gorilla woke up. It stepped over to the steel bars and began to pull them out. Salesman thought, what am I going to do? He went over, he locked the oak doors and ran down the corridor. Big old purple fist went through that oak door like it wasn't there. He ran over, he pulled down the iron forklift, he locked the bars in place, and he ran on down the corridor, looked over his shoulder. The gorilla hardly slowed down as it threw the bars into the ceiling. He got the concrete doors, he got them closed, he put the bar across and thought, nothing's going to stop that, and hurried down the corridor toward the steel vault door, and suddenly there was a bam, 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 and crack, 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 as the concrete doors fell apart. He got to the steel vault door, he locked it and thought, that'll stop anything, that'll stop anything. He got into the elevator doors got to right about here, and that steel vault door flew right off its hinges. Oh no, I'll be fine. I'll be at the top. It'll be at the bottom. I'll just prop the door so it can't get to me. Gets about halfway up that long elevator ride when suddenly the elevator starts to go lurch, lurch, lurch. The gorilla is climbing the cables behind him. He gets up to the kitchen. He runs to the kitchen, and the gorilla breaks through the bottom of the elevator. He runs out to the dining room. The gorilla's getting closer, going. He runs to the dining room. The gorilla's getting right behind him. He runs to the living room. He runs out the front door. He slipped in the mud. He looks up at the gorilla, comes up and says, "Tag, you're it."
So Madeline, why don't we touch a purple gorilla?
Because you'll have to play tag.
He just wanted to play, huh?